Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. And, we're doing kind of a series right now that we've been doing, dissecting headlines, let's say.
Absolutely, right? Because they don't always say what they mean.
Right.
Or they don't give us all the information that we're looking for.
Yeah, and sometimes what we've seen, lo and behold, is their interpretation of the data can be a little bit skewed.
A little bit, or left right out.
or completely left out. Yeah, I say that's a nice way of me saying that they completely take a different angle on than what the stats actually show, what the data actually shows.
Yeah, and we have fun identifying those and revealing them here, right? So
Yeah.
if there is something that's a little odd or misleading, then we like to let you know, of course. So hopefully you tune in for that at the same time.
Okay. All right, let's go.
All right, BNN Bloomberg.
Okay.
18 hours ago, this was published.
Okay.
Hot
off
we're
the
totally,
press.
Totally up to date now.
Yeah.
Canadian homes for sale climb with second biggest jump on record.
That means everybody's selling their homes because they're all going to be homeless. Is that what it means?
Oh, right, because we're in a housing crisis. Now there's more houses
and there's a
than
mortgage.
ever. Did I say
Right.
that out loud again?
And there's a mortgage cliff, right?
Oh, and there's a mortgage cliff
Right.
coming.
Right.
Right, but so far we've already started the mortgage cliff and it hasn't really drastically affected
Sure.
too many people
Yeah.
at this point.
So-
And then all the Airbnbs that are all banned, are they for sale now, but not selling? So we didn't see a huge increase there.
Yeah.
And what was the capital gains tax inclusion rate? There is some of those happening.
Yep, for sure.
Some people are trying to exit the market at the moment.
Yep. Could it be that it's spring? And in spring, which is normally our busiest time of the year for new listings, that's what's happening?
That could be one of those things,
Right.
right? Like that yearly cycle of when is the best time to get your house on the market.
Right.
We can all argue about the exact time and some motivations, and serious buyers only come out at different times.
Yeah.
But really, most people will list their home in springtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in the greater Victoria area, we saw exactly just that. We saw an increase in supply, and we're seeing a steady flow of sales. Sales have not dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you next month's report on like our monthly sales is up slightly, marginally.
Sure.
Like I think we're just going to see, hey, look, we have more inventory, we have more to choose from. If we were only able to look at 10 places last year, maybe now there's 15 places.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much the equivalent.
Yeah, and that's a normal trend at this time of year that we would expect to see.
Yeah, and I'm finding with clients, like, if we miss out on something, is there multiple offers? There is, but it doesn't mean like things are selling for over asking price in all cases.
Yeah.
I think there's just like the same set of buyers are out there, and it's almost easier to find them homes that they would be satisfied with.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen even in multiples now, people are coming in under the listing price.
Under the listing prices.
In a multiple offer situation.
I'm experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
So BNN Bloomberg, here we go. Canada's housing market posted a surge in number of properties available for sale. One of the biggest monthly gains in listed inventory on record as home buyer demand waned and persistently high, or amid persistently high interest rates. Well, I think we all know that.
Yeah. Well,
right?
And we know that the interest rates are going to start coming down. We've talked about that already. But okay. Sure.
When exactly that's going to happen? Like, we shall see. The future will, we can't tell the future.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And think about, like, I'm looking at Greater Victoria area and nationally. Are we going up in available homes? Well, we just came out of a shortage of homes for sale available. So now it's going to take longer to sell homes. Naturally, we're going to see a progression of increasing levels.
Yeah.
To give you some context, when it was like dead slow before in the Victoria market, we had like 5,000 listings, 2009, 2010, and we were selling 10% of the homes. We're at 3,200 listings. We're selling more than that.
Yeah.
Like, the headlines are great, but and they might catch your attention, But get everything looking at context. What's the 10-year averages look like? What are historically like really bad numbers?
Yeah.
And we're still, now I was gonna say like we're not in a bad place. We're falling back into the average market.
Yeah.
A balanced market.
Right.
And we're likely gonna see this.
Yeah.
Will we see increased levels in inventory across Canada? Yeah, we probably will.
Yeah.
And it's going to fluctuate. It's going to come up. It's going to come down.
Sure. And there may be, we're not discounting that there may be some people that say, I can't manage the new interest rates and I'm going to sell my home. That's certainly a possibility.
There's going to be a percentage of people out there.
Sure.
Yes.
But is that everybody? I don't think so. Does that mean that there's this huge run to get everything onto the market? Based on that,
Because the sky is falling.
Right. I don't think that's the case either. I think
Pigs are flying.
Yeah, right. I think certainly we have people that owned condos as investments in British Columbia.
Oh, yeah.
That are selling their condos now because they built that based on the framework of short-term rentals. And as a result,
and pre-construction, and they weren't expecting interest rates like this to come around. And if it takes 2 or 3 years to sell that or build that new condo, and then they have interest rates, if they didn't get great financing that held interest rates for that long amount of time, or that long period of time, then they might be surprised.
Sure.
They might be caught with their pants down, right?
Yeah. So I guess that I'm just saying that to say that we're not saying that nobody's doing it, because I know of some Airbnb owners that are selling their properties. I know of some homeowners that maybe are considering, what do we do? What does this look like when we go to renewal time? And, they're figuring out what are their alternatives and what's the plan.
It's very fractional when we're talking about these small segments. If it's trying to avoid the capital gains on rental properties or businesses, I think people that are we talked about this before. If they are ready to retire, they might retire sooner because of the capital gains inclusion rate being increased.
Yeah.
If they're looking at like, well, I'm not going to be making money on my Airbnb condo that I wasn't supposed to be using, or I got grandfathered. I knew time was going to run out, and now their bet has been called.
Yeah.
And now they have to face the consequences of this real estate investment. Again, it's not a huge portion of the market.
That's true.
And if we're looking at high ratio homeowners, high ratio insured mortgages.
Yeah.
So people would have less than 20% down to have a mortgage like this. Maybe they're at the most susceptible to this mortgage renewal cliff.
Yeah.
Now think about this. Depending on who you ask, and articles are kind of sketchy sometimes, even if it's coming from Statistics Canada. Only when it comes to this, because I haven't found consistent numbers. There's about 14 to 16 million homes in Canada.
Okay.
There's 5 million mortgages. Now, we've covered it in previous episodes where 20 to 25% of mortgage holders are concerned about renewals.
Okay.
So we took from 5 million down to like a million change.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not people, that doesn't include like 1 million plus all in 1 year.
Right.
If we're looking at 1.1 million renewals in a year, possibly, we're only looking at 25% of those, and still there's a lot of there's a space to be ready for an increased price in your mortgage payments,
right?
Either from mortgages, sell your truck or your SUV, like whatever luxury items, or consolidate some debt and make that manageable. I don't think it's going to be like a windfall of foreclosures because of a higher higher cost for renewal. Will we see some people, like you said, come to the market? Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
How Canadians tend to make their payments on their homes before missing out on a payment.
Right.
On something else.
Sure. Yeah.
So, if we look back in like 2008, 2009, there was a certain amount. COVID did the same thing. I was just talking to your guest on your other podcast, And after COVID, if people were financially strained before COVID happened, that was almost like that was like, okay, that's it. That's we gotta like throw in the towel, we give
Right,
up.
sure.
And we saw businesses close at the same time. And then some people Canadians have a ton of equity. If you're a homeowner, you bought 2010, 2012, 2015.
Sure.
You've seen this increase in equity. And if you want to keep your business going, consolidate debts, like there's still a lot of options for people to hold on to their homes or keep their businesses running for a longer time. My point was, I watched an echo effect after 2009.
Yeah.
Some people really didn't start giving up on their businesses if they're not making a certain amount of money they wanted, but it took a couple years to get there.
Okay.
And on the foreclosure note, it doesn't come all at once either. There's only so many lawyers out there, so much staff, so many property managers to go through that whole process before giving homeowners a chance to make up for non-payment, and then I don't know, working for the bank before. Some tenants and owners were super difficult. I'm not saying how to do it.
Yeah.
But like there was delays in the process of getting homes listed on the market when there were foreclosures.
Yeah, and I think
So there won't ever be a flood.
Yeah, and I think we know too that banks don't want to foreclose. So they want to work with the owners as much as possible.
Oh, what was that? In Northern Ontario, there was a real estate investment. I don't want to say a scam, but they were collecting promissory notes for people's investments. Don't ever do a promissory note. I'm not your financial advisor or anything like that, but you have no that promise the person's giving you isn't tied to anything except for a piece of paper. So the only thing that you could do is sue somebody, and you're way down in line before banks or credit or whoever's actually registered on title.
Yeah.
So it went through. I don't know the whole story, but they had like some hundreds of properties that they would buy, renovate, and rent out for more money. And the courtroom so they were guilty, they were fined, all those things, and the bank said, we can't put all these houses on the market. It'll flood the market. We'll lose all of this value for the places that they need to foreclose on to get people's money back. So they're going to take another 5 or 6 years and trickle out 50 properties at a time.
Sure. Yeah.
In these small northern Ontario communities. So, as much as somebody might think if Canadian homeowners poop the bed and all of a sudden there's a flood of foreclosures, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
It just won't happen.
Sure.
They'll delay as much as possible to trickle it out because the bank wants to get their money back too.
Yeah, 100%.
And only 30% of the mortgages are insured, backed by Canadian taxpayers at the same time.
Right.
So I think that's my final note. My final word on that one.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Hope you got some good information out of that. Please take a minute and like and subscribe. It helps us out with getting the word out there. If you know anybody who you think needs to see what we're talking about, please let them know about it.
And of course, if you're thinking of buying or selling real estate in the Greater Victoria area or anywhere on southern Vancouver Island, you can get a hold of us. Our information is in the description below, and we'd be happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
See ya.